Good morning, ladies. As you can see, I have a guest with me today, and we are excited about our time together to learn about Candy and how she broke her weight loss plateau and is just doing amazing in her journey. And so many of you tell me that you are stuck at a weight loss plateau, and it is not fun to be stuck. The good news is you don't have to stay stuck. So that is our goal, is to get you unstuck. And that's what we want to learn about, because Candy's story is super awesome. I want to do a little intro on Candy, and then I'll let her tell you. Candy was very involved in the free group for about almost the duration of the group. The group has been around over a year now, a year and 3 or 4 months we've been around, and we're growing, as you can see. And Candy was wonderful to have. She was one of those people who engaged and encouraged and prayed. And so I felt like I knew Candy, but oftentimes when I'd have certain challenges or things, she would share how she was stuck. And so we started talking, and 3 months ago, she took the step to become a client, and she has done an amazing job. We just reviewed, she's lost 18 pounds in 3 months. This is a great pace for sustainability. She's super motivated because her high school reunion's coming up, and she had a goal in mind, and she looks like she might make it. I'm super excited. And she's almost 4 inches down in her waist. But what you're going to hear more is bigger picture of Candy's transformation. So Candy, as we get started, tell us a little bit more about you. Give the ladies an idea, like where are you from, just some background things.
Okay, I'm from Southeast Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia, and I am a retired teacher, and I taught health and physical education and family and consumer science, is what we used to call home ec. So I taught culinary classes, as well as I taught sewing and health and physical education. I taught 9th grade health and phys ed at the time of my retirement. But in my career, which I retired in 2020, in 2020, in my career, I taught on every level. I taught kindergarten through graduate school and everything in between. And so I've had a very varied career in physical education.
I love it. So you were very active.
I've always been an athlete. I was a college athlete, played 2 sports in college. And I didn't start, my weight didn't creep up until after my children were born, really. And it, just kind of crept up. And I tried everything that you can imagine. I once worked out 4 years without a day off, and still really didn't lose weight. And then I took a year. I started and cut fat out of my diet, and I lost a little, but not much. And so gradually things crept up. My husband had a career that he traveled all the time. So a lot of times it was just me and my girls. And I can't say that I always ate the healthiest. I always worked out, always walked, always worked out. But it just creeped up. I went through menopause very early. I started perimenopause in my mid-30s. And that drastically affected my weight.
Yeah. So you were, you had battled weight for many years before we met, right? And you were very active, and because of your work, you felt you knew the right things to do to get weight off, but yet you were not able to get the results that you wanted. Right. Is that, yeah.
Right.
So I love that. And then tell me a little bit about like being in the free community and kind of what led you to us to where we decided to, take things to the next level. Because, right, remember how you were there, like my
Yeah.
introduction? Tell
Well,
us a little more about that.
I need to preface this by saying I have severe asthma,
Mhm.
and which is exacerbated by extra weight. And so 5 years ago, I had gastric bypass surgery, and I had the RNY gastric bypass, and it made a huge difference in my life to lose the weight. I lost 90 pounds and was doing really well, and then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I gained like 30 pounds, and I was just scared
Mhm.
that weight was going to creep back on. And I was watching what I was eating, I was exercising, I was doing everything right, and nothing, it just wasn't budging. And so that's the point at which I said, I got to try something. And so that was where I started at the end of May. And I approached this a little differently in that I approached this like this was a college course that I was taking.
Yeah, and that's a really good way to put it, because it is like a course, right? Like a 3-month course.
So that was really how I justified it. That was how I approached it, that I had to do my homework. I'm a student, and I'm a teacher. And so I felt like I had to be a good student, and I had to, so that's how I approached the program, was like a student.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. So you, after the surgery, you lost how many pounds, you said?
90.
90. And then at COVID, and this is something I talked to a lot of women that have had different type of surgeries to help with weight loss. And they lose the weight and then they start to gain it. And then when it starts to be gained, they get really afraid, and the fear of, losing control again. And that is
Absolutely.
real. Yeah. And I, again, I often tell ladies that I talk to, like, even if you might need the surgery, because there is a place for the surgery for some women, right?
Oh,
Like,
I have no regrets at all.
yeah,
that I
no,
had the surgery.
absolutely. And Candy mentioned her asthma. So again, sometimes the surgery could be what you need. Again, obviously we want to try to avoid that. But as a physical therapist who treats a lot of injuries like knee replacements, hip replacements, sometimes those surgery can help fix the joint. But if you don't have the right lifestyle built around those surgeries, you're not going to have the sustainable outcomes that you hope for. And
Right.
that fear of losing control is going to come back. And so that was kind of like Candy, you were starting to get nervous, and I appreciate you sharing that. And then you were starting to realize you needed to do something. And so that's when you started the program. Tell us a little bit about what has changed since we began working together.
Well, I think I learned more about the intermittent fasting, learned about that, that was something I didn't really know much about. In my recovery from my surgery, protein was always encouraged, but I still wasn't eating enough. But I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I wasn't eating enough protein. That was always encouraged. Of course, you're always told to drink water. Again, I wasn't drinking enough. That I needed to be accountable to someone, and I needed to keep track. I've always been good at getting my devotions done in prayer and that kind of thing, but now it became more important. And now it became like that I was giving it all every day. And to me, I think that's what made the difference.
Yeah, you've said that a lot. And I want to just say, guys, if you relate to feeling like fearful of losing control of your weight, I want you to tell us in the comments, put the word fear. That way we know you can relate, like that feeling a second ago that we were talking about when Candy started really getting nervous that she's going to lose control. I'd love to know if you can relate to that. And Candy, you covered so many good things. And I just want to tell you guys, Candy's so fun to coach and to work with on this, because as she already said, she's a great student, and she really was. And even though at the beginning, it was a challenging, let's say from a course analogy, like you said, it was a hard course, right? Like you were a little nervous and a little skeptical and a little resistant, I would even say. But the cool thing, she didn't give up. She kept trusting the course, the process, and doing the hard work daily. So that's why I say, like, and she made the changes, even though they made her uncomfortable. She made them, right? So sometimes we would have like a little tension, and I'd encourage her to keep going. And, she keeps getting results, and she's so consistent. So Candy, that's just, I want to compliment you on that, because, you got to do your part, and not just the program doesn't do magic. You have to put it to use. Now, tell us a little more about what you just said. How has your spiritual life been affected as a result of completing the course? Because Candy's at the end of her course and she is going to continue doing the things she learned, but she's completed and passed the course with a great grade. How has your spiritual life been affected?
I think I feel closer to God in my spiritual life. I always saw I remember driving by a gas station one time, and there was a signboard outside, and it said, "If you feel far away from God, guess who moved?" And that drawing closer made me closer. And I'm retired now, and so I have time to spend time in prayer, and I have time to follow up on those prayer requests, and I think that's made a difference.
And guys, if you need someone to pray for you, ask Candy. She's a prayer warrior, and I know she prays for me, and I love it. And she's often asked me, and so I love that as well about you, Candy, that you have really invested in prayer, but really seen God in this journey with you. And that's where we start the program, is really learning how much this matters to our spiritual life. Have you noticed any changes in your mental health, like your just general state of being, emotional, mental, well-being, that since starting the program? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about things in life and everything. Can I say something about the weight loss surgery? People, if you've made that choice in your life, you go through, believe it or not, some guilt about it, because you feel like, I should have known how to do this, or I'm a phys ed teacher, I should know how to do this, or I shouldn't have let myself get this to this point. And then you'll have skeptics in your life that will say, well, couldn't you have just gone on a diet? Yeah. Oh, really? Like I hadn't tried that? Like I've done, when I tell you I've done every diet known to man, I have done every diet known to man. And I had tried everything. But if you make a choice for weight loss surgery, what you need to realize is it's just a tool. It's just a tool. And so this helps you maintain that.
Absolutely. I'm curious to ask you, I've never asked you this. Do you think this would have been helpful before the surgery? I should say more helpful?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Now, and I was encouraged to, like I said, I was encouraged to eat more protein, and you're supposed to eat your protein first, so that you have room for it, because your stomach is so small. and eat your protein first and to drink water. But no one really ever said like how much water or how much protein, or the intermittent fasting was very helpful for me, I think.
And that was
Because,
something you were resistant of because,
well, because it's contrary to what you're taught. You know, we're taught that breakfast is the most important meal. And then you're saying skip breakfast, you know, and so there was this like, how can that work? And then when
yeah,
it started to really work, you know, I was thinking, you know, I'm not really hungry in the morning anyway. So what difference does it make if I eat later? You know?
yeah. And intermittent fasting is a great tool when used right. So many women think it is the tool that I talk to. And again, it's one set of tools. I have some women who don't fast. That's the same schedule.
But
We
it's
apply it.
just, again, it's just another tool.
Exactly.
You
And it's
know?
putting them all together in a way that works for you. So that's where the support comes in
Yeah.
and the guidance. And I love that.
And I think the journal helped, you know, to make sure, did I do a checklist? Did I get these done? Did I spend time meditate? How many glasses of water did I drink? How many, you know, so you're accountable. And one thing my daughter always says is, I got to get it right. What gets measured gets done.
Mhm.
What gets done gets rewarded. What gets rewarded gets repeated.
That's good. I like that.
So thank you, Lydia. I met Lydia.
She's listening to you.
That's my Lydia. My Lydia gave me that. But that's true. So, you know, when you've lost weight, that's your reward. But you have to, that measuring of checking off the list. Did I get this done? Did I get that done? Did I get this done? Keeping track of what I ate, like an accurate account of what I ate, not just like a hazy report of what I ate. And I thought, oh, I have such a sweet tooth, you know, I'm going to miss that. I truly haven't missed it as much as I thought I would. And it's not that you can't have those things, but you need to record it. If you bite it, write it, you know, and I didn't want to write it, so I didn't bite it.
I like that.
You know,
Yeah, the tool that Candy's referring to is the Stay Fit 5 principle method journal. And it's really not just a blank journal. We have a strategic journaling tool that is very comprehensive and that gives you this framework you need for sustainability. A lot of the women I talk to are afraid they will regain the weight. And we are confident you won't. And our clients have been with us for a couple of years, or like friends of ours, you know, from a distance. And as long as they are incorporating these principles, these tools, these rhythms that we work on, they continue to succeed. And again, while the weight loss is a little bit of a reward, I know you would agree with this, Candy, the bigger reward is the transformation in mind, body, and spirit.
absolutely.
And that great knowing you are able to get up and have the energy and the just the focus, you feel good to be able to do the things that God has for you. That doesn't mean you have no pain. You guys know my story. I live with chronic pain. So it's not that your problems are all gone. It's just you have a framework and a structure that helps you plug along and keep moving forward. So you really that's just, you know, fulfilling the calling that God has for you.
A big thing for me was sleep too.
Mm-hmm.
I would stay up too late and I'd get up too early. And now that I'm retired, you think, oh, I can stay up as late as I want to. I don't have to set an alarm. Yeah, but I feel so much better if I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I feel so much better. And that helped. On all those years of not sleeping, of burning the candle at both ends, made me gain weight.
Exactly. And lack of sleep makes you gain weight. And we talk about that a lot. Physiologically, it does. Some people say, how does stress make you gain weight? How does lack of sleep? It's because of hormones. So hormones is that whole other area that happens in middle age and menopause. So ladies, if you're like frustrated, you can't figure it out, you shouldn't be, because it's complicated. And Candy touched on a second ago, and I meant to say, like, if you feel guilty if you choose to do the weight loss surgery, but a lot of women feel guilty to invest in this course, because I really like how you put that, because it is a course and it has, you know, your professor is ready to help you and support you. And that's what we do. And it is literally, you have to be ready to take the course. But some women don't feel like it should then, you know, they make excuses like you ought to be able to figure it out on your own, or it's just too big of a step. But, you know, to know that, you know, and I guess that's a good question. Do you feel confident now, Candy, that you can sustain, and not just sustain, because you still want to continue on the journey towards your goals? We were just talking her initially.
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yep. And you know what to do. You have the tools to do it.
And keep recording.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Keep my routines.
The rhythms that were established, right? You've established a
Yeah.
lot of routines and rhythms and the confidence. So that fear we talked about, do you feel that fear or do you feel confident? I want to just highlight that.
No,
like,
I do feel confident. And one of the things that I learned too was about preparation with food, you know, to make sure you have on hand all the things that you need, and the prep ahead of time of protein, you know, like having that's been huge for me, to have already cooked chicken in the fridge, you know, because I don't have an excuse not to eat protein. I have it right there. I don't have an excuse not to eat protein when I've made the right choices in the grocery store and not bought the junk that I would have reached for if I was hungry. And when I tell you, I'm not, I really seldom get ravenous hungry, because protein really takes your hunger. When you're eating the junk, you're hungry very quickly.
Absolutely. Your blood
I'm
sugar.
not eating that, and so I'm not hungry all the time.
Right. I love it. Candy, you have just soaked in all the pieces of the program. What advice would you give someone who is in your spot, who was in the spot you were in, you know, 6 months ago? What advice would you give that person?
To pray about it and give it over to God, and let him guide you, and really let him guide you. And because I think when it comes down to it, in the whole scheme of things, you're in this life with God, not with you, not with me, not with your family. You're in this life with God. And so you need to have a relationship with him that you can share your fears. Share. My devotion this morning was about not being afraid. And it made me think, you know, that you're a child of the King.
Amen.
You don't need to be afraid.
That's right. That's why scripture tells us 366 times, right? Do not fear, because we're so prone.
So I would say, pray about it and give that decision over to him. But even glean what is in the free group too, you know, like there's so much good nuggets in there that can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's a lot of women who have made great progress just by trying to make the best out of the free group because they're unable to take the next step. And I love to talk to you ladies. And so I love to hear from you. So I genuinely want to know how I can serve you best. And I try to provide a lot of great free resources. But, you know, again, if you're on the fence about whether the 5-principle method weight loss program is for you, you know, Candy told us she tried everything and she was stuck. And I think it's just exciting to see her get unstuck. And, you know, when I like to get clients like Candy, because I know we can get them unstuck, and it's not easy, but again, Candy did the work. She was consistent and she showed up, and that makes the results more consistent. And that's what we've seen. And so again, the good news is, guys, we're able to change. God wants you to change. He is not against you. It does not have to be a horrible way. Even if you've failed before, or you've done whatever, there's hope. And that's what we're trying to do. We all want to live a life that honors the Lord. At least that's why you would be in a faith-based weight loss community. And so let us encourage each other to do that. As we wrap up, final words, Candy, that you want to leave the women with. Final words.
If you have questions, you know, friend me on Facebook, and you know, maybe I could answer a question for you, or
yeah. And if you don't know her full name, put comments for Candy in this post, and then you guys can friend each other.
my on Facebook, I'm Candy Baldwin, Peary, Baldwin like pianos, Peary, P-I-R-I-E.
Yeah. And again, if you don't remember that, you can just comment, and Candy, you guys can connect through the comments. And I look through all the comments, ladies, and we want to know where you're at. We are here I'm here to serve you, and I'm super excited. I want to thank Candy for sharing her story. She has gotten results in all aspects, and she's working at it, and she's confident she can keep the results. So I hope that if you've been stuck in a plateau, you can be encouraged hearing Candy's story, and that there is a way that works, and that you can get there, whether it's through the free group or whether you want to take it to the next level. Like I said, message me is the best way if you want to connect. If you want me to reach out to you, put help in the comments, and I'll know you want me to connect with you, but otherwise feel free to just directly message me. Exciting. 2 weeks from today, we have another live on the 31st of August, and it's going to be the Q&A to answer your questions about your stress and your weight loss. And I'm going to have a special guest with me that I want to introduce you to. So if you are excited about this training and want to know more, put stress in the comments. That will tell me you want to know more and you want to stay up to date on that. But 2 weeks from today at 10:30 Central Time, we are going to have a Q&A about your stress and your weight loss. Lots of questions have come through about that, and I'm working on giving you the best answers, and I will have a special guest. Hope you're finishing your summer well and ready for fall. I think, Candy, do you like fall, Candy, or you like summer?
I love fall.
Which is your favorite?
I love 4 seasons, but I love fall because fall means field hockey, and I love field hockey.
And Candy has a lot of football in her blood, so she's like the real deal, PE and fitness and all.
My father was a football coach, and my brother's a football coach.
I love it. And I have kids who play football, so she, we talk about that. Candy, thank you for taking the time to be here with us and sharing your story. I love every part of it, and I know you've inspired me, so I wish you to continue, continued success and sustainability, and continue to shine the light of Christ, because I know you do that, and continue to pray for me. Don't ever stop. And we want to thank you, ladies. We'll catch you in 2 weeks, and that's it for today.
Okay,
bye, guys.